little warm today, and I already started changing things around for fall and like removing my air conditioner out of the sunroom. So it's a little warm in the sunroom today. So I'm sitting outside. So since it's Sunday Funday, I thought I'd get some of the fun cards. I know this is like backwards for you guys, but I literally have the cameras like on the chair. Yeah, cheap. Like it doesn't have to be fancy to be effective, right? Sometimes, you know, any old thing will do. So, okay. Shelter. Somebody may be reviewing their shelter plans. It's always a smart idea, right? That's why they have like fire drills and tornado drills and things like that. Okay. What else? What do we got? What do we got for the big cards today? Oh, water. Hydrate. It's a hot day today. Hydrate. Yep. It's like 90 degrees here. Yeah. Ooh, stone fox. Somebody is a stone fox. You might have silver or graying hair. Also, I feel like stone fox usually refers to a masculine energy. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's hot out here. I'm like sweating right now. I did. I mean, there's a theory where this stone fox could be in love with you. Perhaps. Perhaps, right? My dog's outside sunning herself. She's so cute. She had her birthday this week. We celebrated. You know what? She ended up having like a bath on her birthday, which was completely unplanned, but like somebody came and sprayed the yard, you know what I mean, and all that stuff. So, hello there in the chat. Somebody came and sprayed the yard that day, and it was like she was, she still had to go out and stuff, and then, but I was like, I don't want that stuff on her, So she kind of got a little impromptu bath, and then I realized it's like, oh yeah, today is still her, it was like later in the day, but it was like, it's still her birthday today, and she's having to have a bath. Yes, thank you. Yes, we had a nice day celebrating her birthday. It was a lot of naps, some treats. Yesterday we went for a stroll. Yeah, one times a day. What's your daily activity? For your dog, it might be, going for a walk. I'm lucky that my dog has a yard to roam around in also for exercise. And actually this morning she was chasing things around the yard, I think, that had been in the garden. So yeah, you guys, it's a little steamy out here. Okay. Now, let's get one more, and then I'm gonna get into the tarot, okay? Man, I should have brought that fan out here. It was fierce. It's just very still, you know what I mean? Any house, okay. When I made this card, it was kind of like one of those, like anywhere will do, and kind of like how I pulled the cheap card earlier. Like, some tarot readers I watch do readings in their car. Some people do it while they're on their lunch break, from their regular job. Like, a lot of people out here that do these things aren't necessarily, banking on it. We're just kind of following, for us, like a spiritual practice. So don't think to get started that you have to go and take some tarot reading class, or you have to, right, sing. Yeah, it could be something as simple as singing, okay? You know, don't let it become complicated. I know our lives become very scheduled and complicated, especially as we age and things, and as we add more reasons and seasons and chapters into our life, right? Sometimes we forget to get back to the basics. So loving yourself, doing the things that you love, right? And the fact that you can do that kind of anywhere, right? It doesn't have to be inside the house. You don't, or like, okay, here's a good one. Here's a good example. Okay, I'm gonna have to, just as I said, it was very still, right? Now there's just this tiny, slightest breeze of like, so I gotta stack these cards over here. Oh, the penguin girl is gonna get blocked. I am sorry, I don't really allow that on my channel, so yeah, bye-bye. Okay, so getting into the tarot now. So yes, doing something you enjoy, not making it complicated, right? And doing that anywhere, and the same with, church. I know, like, if you listen to the story of Steve Harvey, he talks about his mother wanting him at the church like every day because they were doing something at the church like every day. There's also a very famous church who has had legal things. I believe it was Leah Remini that did the documentary on them. And Rolling Stone had a very famous article written. I can't remember who wrote the article, but it was kind of like an expose about how some of these churches use people for free labor and stuff. And it was like, whoa, you know what I mean? So, like, if you have a Bible, you can read it at home. You don't have to read it at so-and-so's church. You don't have to read it at so-and-so's branch of whatever, right? Like, just remember back in the old days, they didn't want folks to have the printing press either because they didn't want people to have their own Bibles, to even be able to do their own Bible study, right? Right? I mean, it is a Sunday anyway. But, that goes for a lot of other kinds of books as well, right? But that doesn't, mean I'm, promoting one over the other. I'm just using it as an example, okay? So, yeah, look at that. Again, musician. So the Sing card came out earlier, and this card is about manifesting what you want, okay? Right now I'm listening to some nice oldies on the radio, okay? Yeah, then we have the Mirror card here, which is the Tower. The Mirror card is what forces us at times to look at ourselves, right? And then, you have to say, am I manifesting what I want, or am I creating something else, and am I executing that wisely? So, that's part of why I named the channel Manifest Wisely. Because you have to try and utilize your time to the best of your ability, right? Yeah, anyway, so you might have, like I said, some do readings on their lunch break, some people do it in the morning, some people, you know what I mean? And that doesn't mean you have to put it on YouTube. There are people that are doing that. We are choosing to share this to help others, develop and continue their spiritual practice for their own health and well-being. And I think health and well-being is actually a very timely topic. Really any point in history, right? People are concerned, and what do they say? If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. Okay, so, okay. Ooh, look at that. The river. Y'all ever play that? What is that? Texas Hold'em? Texas Snow Hold'em, whatever. It's like, oh, the river, turn the river, whatever. And here, this is actually the Death card, also Scorpio. Okay, so intense transformation, and especially coming after this Mirror card, I feel like, I feel like the thing is that, when we do and are able to let things go, this is also number 13, that, yeah, we're able to move forward. And it's like moving forward with grace. You know what I mean? And that's why part of why it's a river. It's a moving, and like, are you the same as you were yesterday? Did you not learn anything yesterday to today? Right? You know what I mean? Like, people think like, oh, I'm this immovable, blah, 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 blah. Well, like it or not, the world spins around us, and we're all going around the sun. Okay. Um, the brightest star in our solar system. FYI. I thought that was cool. I did see a trivia come across the YouTube, and it was asking what color is the sun, which I learned this in science class, which as a child I did not know. So anyway, Eight of Wands. Yeah, so information messages might be coming to you very quickly, especially if you've accepted this transformation and knowing. Okay. Um, but here it's like the tiger doesn't change its stripes, and I feel like it's like you recognize that and you're like, okay, well, how do I deal with a tiger? And now I know how to deal with a tiger, right? I'm not going to pretend it's not a tiger. That would be silly. That would be silly. Okay, this happens to be a white tiger. I don't know if that, or so like a Siberian tiger is like white stripes, right? White stripes also the name of a group. Wheel of Fortune here. Okay, overall energy with that. So I feel like the way that you've navigated this tiger energy, or like the tiger within you, okay, is where you've come out and you're like, yeah, like I got it. It's like, are you gonna mess with a Siberian tiger? I don't think so. You know what I mean? I was also hearing Siberian Husky. So somebody could have husky dogs, um, which they're not striped, but now I can't remember. What about the zebras? Don't they actually have striped skin? It's not just the fur, right? Alrighty, 10 of Swords. Yeah, over and done. So, yeah, accepting this navigational change. Yeah, you've moved through this chapter. Like I said earlier, as we add chapters, and then you kind of, it's not that you forgot the other chapters or they fail to exist. It's just they have now transformed, and you're able to, sometimes look at things with a new perspective, with a new measure of distance. The tower, the mirror, is also asking us about, I would say checking our ego at the door a little bit, right? And sometimes when people don't want to do that, that's when we do fall, right? And it's like, um, mm-hmm. And sometimes that comes in the form of finally noticing things that have been piling up that we may have needed to deal with for a long time. However it occurred. I'm not saying, because people be like, oh, well, but this happened and this happened. It's like, yeah, I can listen to that all day. But, at a certain point, you might reach that stage in your healing, right? Where, and some people might say the sooner the better, right? Ripping off the Band-Aid. But, yeah, don't go messing with the stitches if, like, who are you, Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse? Like, remember when she's like, who carries around their own medical records? He's like, I do. Right? So, it's kind of like that type of chapter that, and maybe if you're a certain age like me and like in the Gen X region and you relate to Roadhouse, okay, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. He comes in and he tells them how to do this and that, right? Because he's experienced, right? But you also notice he doesn't just go out and pick fights with any old thing, right? He recognized that there might have been a tiger sitting there and how to deal with a tiger, right? So, right, they're great. Okay. Now, if I had some orange stripes on me, I would look like Tony the Tiger. All right, yeah, Libra, justice. Um, I feel like that's coming, some fairness. Um, I think that recognize as well what you feel is fair. So that's kind of where you're placing yourself. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah. And see here, it's like all that work was still done. It's not lost because you had to go through this chapter. It's like look at these as those chapters. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we can choose to learn from it or we can what? You know what I mean? So, from an energetic standpoint, right? Um, yeah. Okay. All right. I think that's. Well, I mean, this was the first card that came out, which is the Tower, and people are like, but, sometimes it's a forced look, and sometimes it's kind of like a look back, but like not a look back of longing, but a look of, oh my gosh, wow, and maybe then you're able to turn that around and say, well, look what I've now conquered. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's nothing wrong with taking a look at ourselves, like, oh my gosh, what we might actually find. And I think that's part of why the rose is here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, again, get out there and sing, right? What do they say? Sing your praises. Okay. And again, like people sing in church and stuff, so it's sometimes it's weird. I feel like when people, uh, in the outside world or whatever, they're like, "What are you singing for? What are you doing that for? What are you do?" It's like, haven't you ever seen nobody do that or heard nobody do that before? So sometimes you gotta check where this kind of judgment is even coming from and be like, does that even belong to me as needing to worry about or it be my concern, right? You might be aware of it. That doesn't mean you need to live it, right? That's what the critic's job is for out there writing in the newspaper or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Or the blog or the blah, 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 right? About this performance or that performance or yada, 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 yada. So, anyway, yeah, I guess that's the message for today. I think I covered everything that was part of the channeling. All right. So take it easy. Until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.